United Financial Group is a trust asset management company that invests into the development of new generation innovative drugs. UFG is the most advanced industries and technologies, including safe medicine and IT blockchain development. Our mission is to set up a well-balanced investment portfolio for everyone. United Financial Group. Invest with us and create your own future. I think that everyone who wanted to be here is here, and the rest will be there later. Let us share interesting news. Those of you who are here in the webinar room, let's have a little survey. I think that those of you who is here already know about our news that we have distributed yesterday. The investment package has expanded. We have new technologies now, and I have a request. If this news is good for you, as me, please chat F5, and if you don't quite like it, send A1 in the chat, just to know what is going on. Okay, Alexander put A10 for 2 persons. Well, sounds good. I can feel some misunderstanding, but let's begin. We are going to discuss the current things first and then more important news. The first thing what I want to say is that there was a post across our media that the 6th stage shares are coming to an end. A total of 2,500 shares were left yesterday, and about 1,000 is left today for the 6th stage. So if not today, probably tomorrow, the 6th stage will be over and the 7th investment stage starts. So this is important information for you. Mr. Sorokodum is 70 years old. Will we be able to do anything with him? This is a question. My answer is that please don't write such things in the chat. It's not good to hear such things because no one is insured against anything, and we don't know how long we will live. This is the first point. Secondly, I talked to Mr. Sorokodum. He felt good, and I would say much better than those who are 40 or 50 years old now. He is feeling good, he has a good brain, and he's an interesting interlocutor. Next point. What happened today is that I will pass balsam over to Sorokodum for him to feel better. Next point. There are investors who stopped paying disbursement for their investment packages by the number. Up until today, we have never suspended any package. However, if there is a wording that if the payment is delayed for more than 2 weeks, the package should be suspended. Today, all packages are suspended if not paid up until the 1st of October, with the exception of those guys who asked for an excuse. All other packages were suspended. If your package is suspended and if you decide to continue paying further, you have to set up a request using our support team, and the conditions for defrosing your package are going to be said tomorrow. So it's going to take a week to defroze your package or to resuspend it. Let's move on. Well, this is a picture of yesterday. We signed a draft or preliminary contract with Mr. Sorokodum about our joint operations, and the main agreement is being drafted now by our lawyers. It's going to take up 2 weeks to put everything on paper, but the most important thing is that we have discussed about 90% of all points with him, and we are on the same page. There is no misunderstanding or any disputes. We will have no problem with concluding this agreement. Some information for those who don't know it: what kind of agreement is that and what kind of technology. This picture was taken in his laboratory in Moscow Oblast. He lives there, and his testing lab is there too. He is isolated from the society, and I don't think that there are any viruses there. Under our financial project, the investment portfolio of the company would include the vortex and oscillating technology. This is what Yevgeny Sorokodum has been doing for 40 years now. His articles and the first materials are dated back to 1978, which is more than 40 years now. There are not so many professionals in the world having such amount of knowledge and expertise. Maybe a couple of others comparable to him. No one can boast similar achievements. Yevgeny has been watching other developers, including Americans, and he says that not many people are doing right things. He offered his help. It's a long story. There is a Global Wave YouTube channel, and they have a good interview, which was recorded 2 weeks ago before we have come visiting him. It's a 2-hour interview made up of 2 parts. I recommend you watch it, as it is very interesting and easy to watch. This type of physical processes, oscillatory processes, have a wide range of applications in transport, energy, and other industries, and this is an innovative one, as up until today it has never been scaled up or used on a wider scale, neither in industry nor in transport. And Yevgeny Dmitrovich is amazed by that, because there is a wide range of applications that it can be used in. However, they are not yet utilized. Apart from vortex oscillating technology, he used to attend operations of major companies like Korolov Design Bureau. He was a member of a developers team for anti-vibration program for booster rocket Soyuz to remove vibration in fuel tanks, as the fuel tanks are big and there is a big amount of fuel there. So when fuel vibrates, they outbalance the booster rocket, and his task was to sort this out and to remove those parasitic vibrations for a rocket to lift off well. He has a number of other major works. I don't remember them exactly, but cosmonautics is a line of activities in transport and in the industry that is using the most sophisticated and new developments. Now, what are developments that Soroka Doom's company has, which is interesting for us? I would like to pinpoint three major lines of activities. The first is their vortex vibrating power plant. This is its diagram. Those of you who are not engaged in physics, it's hard to know it, and I don't understand it too. So if we take a 5 kV power plant, its size is going to be like a 200-liter barrel. You know how big it is, and the price of fabrication is not high. So the generator cost is going to be affordable to any person who is doing something. It has a wide range of applications. It could be located in a field, in any place, and it just needs an accumulator as a source of energy, and then this power plant will be working in a self-sustained mode to use some energy for own running, and the rest of energy can be used for your purposes. This is a vortex oscillating station that can be used as a source of electricity. Let's say you have a home or a structure to get connected. You have a vortex oscillating power plant to produce electricity. The next development, which is nearing its production, is I don't have a picture, but this is a vortex generator generating water from ambient air. The unit is pushing through itself some air, and it gives 5 or 6 liters per hour. 40% of the global population has water shortages, and such generators could be useful for regions where water is in short supply, where you have to desalinate water and to make 60-70 meter deep wells. But we can take this generator to get enough amount of water. And the third line of activities is more robust and more expensive and calls for longer time, which is creation of a pilot aircraft built by those vortex oscillating technology. If we compare a helicopter and another aircraft, so the helicopter is different because 1 horsepower can load 7 kilos. So 1 horsepower lifts 7 kilos. If we use a vortex technology, we could achieve 70 to 80 kilos of lifting power per 1 horsepower, so it's 10 times more. Therefore, you could revolutionize air transport. Well,
для сравнения. То есть таким образом можно действительно сделать революционные вещи в воздушном транспорте. Вот. Так.
Well, this is the major list of things. His website has many more developments based on those physical principles that can be used for national economy, so pumps, mills, or crushers. What do we have here? Our company has been working as a financer of joint developments, and all investors become co-owners, and future profit from commercialization of all those things would be distributed as dividends. So the investment portfolio of our company has been expanding, and the value of the company and the shares has been growing, and this has to have a positive impact on people's attitude to our project. This is not the entire information that I wanted to share with you. I have another news that is not known to nearly all of you. A week ago, I had a talk with another developer. This is about a medical activity. There was our recruiters found a development of a very interesting medical drug, but it's not a medical drug yet, as it is not certified, but it has been widely and successfully applied during treatment. So we may say that it is a potential medical drug against oncology. This is a Soviet development by a microbiologist. About 100 persons have been treated over that period of its usage. I had a friend of mine with me from a chemical department of Moscow State University. We had a dialogue, and my friend did like that topic a lot. And once we finished that dialogue, he analyzed data and said that it was interesting to him, and a developer has a big interest in terms of cooperation, not only for production but also for patenting and copyright protection. He tried to do that many times, and he told us that he would like to work with us. So the preparation was developed in the 80s. It is not produced and never been produced. There is a large number of literature, articles and documents, awards for that job, and there is a certain recognition abroad. Preclinical trials took place in the USA and Israel. However, they were not finalized, and the medication is suspended in the air. They were looking for investors, and we began negotiations, and I believe that some understanding will be there in a week. If everything goes well, this information would be put in detail, and our portfolio will have another potential development. Well, this is it on my side, and now I would like to answer your questions. Question 1. A new energy project, will it be a separate share project or it will be already covered by the existing shares? Answer. All developments in our projects would be part of all shares of the company, no matter when you bought it, now or a year ago. The dividends would be allocated for all company shares. There could be some changing percentage points when how much does it cost, the share, but it will be part of all shares. Otherwise, it makes no sense to do it. Otherwise, we could have a bunch of different projects. Question. When do official sales of the balsam start, and why a delay? Answer. To run official sales of the balsam, we need to finalize its certification and have an expert evaluation by regulatory authorities to give us a clearance. Our legal address was changed 2 days ago. All certification documents are nearly ready, and they were waiting for the legal address change. So the certification company was submitted with the documents, and I think that in the end of next week all certification documents will be there. Once we have them, we could start looking for a room or facility, and we will just decide about production. I don't know how long will it take, as I have never done that before, but we will try to do it as fast as possible. There is another delay for automated line supply for balsam preparation, as the vendor have been waiting for spare parts supply from abroad, and there are delays everywhere for supply of such things because of the coronavirus. Evgeny Kutin, the project would be funded by research and development or not? This is a question. The answer is, Evgeny, I don't know what you mean. How much funding is required for the project and what is the deadline? Answer. The budget is not yet approved. So once it's approved, it's going to take a couple of weeks when information will be published. is for a deadline to set up the first vortex generator. If I'm not mistaken, it's going to take about 12 months. It's specified in Sorokodum's papers. Question: are there any pilot or utility models of the invention or not? A question by Anton. Answer: not prototypes, but testing benches where lots of experiments took place, and based on those tests, a prototype may be ready. So it's not just theory, it's theory and the practice. Question: why spending money on a new technology if it has never, if the first line, the balsam, has not been commercialized? Answer: a very strange question, because the first line, which is balsam production, has been commercialized, the certification documents are there, the production technology is there, so we look forward to equipment supply, and even if there is a delay, we still have a semi-automated line to start production on, so there is a matter of time, and we cannot intensify it as it takes time. So we could sit down and do nothing, but we could develop the company, as the investment funds are enough for the balsam production start, and we have enough funds to finance or to fund other technologies. Question: what about sales revenues or sales profit? Will the profit come from electricity generation or from sales of vortex generators? Answer: from sales of vortex generators. Question: isn't it better to spend money for the balsam marketing and then start funding a new line of activities? Question. Answer: Evgeny, this is not what I mean. No one says that we will not be spending money on marketing. Question: how much time will it take to sell, and what is the dividend time for a new line of activities? Answer: well, guys, I'm not sure, as the information is not processed yet, but I think that a ready prototype is going to take about 12 months. How much funds are needed for a new medical line of activities and the wind energy project? Answer: if we agree, the medical line will need 150 million rubles for production, so about $2 million, slightly less. And we have to run preclinical trials in parallel to have clinical trials right after that for it to become an official medical drug. We could sell it as a food supplement in parallel and run clinical and preclinical trials. We would have commercial part of it, and we will also be moving towards its sales. Well, question: is the company task is to attract money for those two projects? So are there dedicated teams for those projects, and what about cooperation? Answer: Mr. Sorokodum has his team, and he's going to recruit extra people to deliver his product. So for the technical part, This is out of the question. For the medical part, it has not been discussed yet because we had no time for that. Question. What about cooperation? Answer. I don't know. What kind of cooperation do you mean? If you mean cooperation between our company and Sorokodum, I know where his laboratory is located. I have his contacts and we could meet with him. Or what do you mean? Question. 12 months is too long. If it's going to take too long for creation of product. Answer. Well, 12 months is not too much. What was 12 months ago? November 2019. Today is November 2020. You can think what changed, what has changed in your life over that period of time, and you may think whether it's little or much. I had a lot of changes in this life related to the company. What happened the year before and 2 years before, I wouldn't say that many changes took place in my life. So basically, no major changes took place. How much will our fund get for partnership with those lines of activities, and what is going to be our share? Answer. Investors' share has already been submitted in the document. How much dividends have to be paid per share, and relations between a fund and Mr. Sorokodum. We said and we agreed to have a 50-50 scheme. A question. What about Fran? I don't answer. Mr. Franzo lives in Kazakhstan and we live in Moscow or in Russia. Question. What about a new cancer drug? Answer. We are holding talks and extra news will be supplied. Question. What about Squalene news? Answer. No news about Squalene because we had no time for that. There is an action plan in place, but we have not been able to develop it due to certain circumstances. Question. Is this new drug effective in terms of action or not? Answer. I haven't tested it on myself and I don't know. Question. What about the prime cost of production for our balsam? Answer. This is commercial secret. Question. What about medical line of activities, about the fund and about other shareholders? Answer. There are a few ways for us to participate in the project. When it's clear which is the format of our participation and if we participate at all, then we can discuss percentage. Now it's not yet discussed. Question. What will teams be doing? Sorokodum's team is doing research and our team is financing and promoting technologies. And what about a room for that or a facility? Answer. I don't know, what do you mean by facility? Sorokodum has all rooms for that and our company is doing the funding. Sorokodum is going to promote it because he's also interested in it as we are interested. Question. Is there any demand for Sorokodum technology? Were there any tests in that regard? Answer. The biggest companies of the world, Boeing, Airbus, BMW, Audi, Volkswagen, Ford, they all have been working on developing an aircraft to replace a vehicle, a moving vehicle. And the topic is that if those companies have been doing that, they see potential in there, and this is true because there is a big transport issue because of traffic jams, and we will be achieving private aircraft. This is a matter of time. Today, all developments that they have, they cannot be turned in, they cannot replace a motor vehicle because of high cost and lack of safety during testing. The money invested in that industry is measured up by dozens of $billion because the first pioneers in that area would have the biggest piece of that market. Why? Because a total of 90 million passenger cars are sold in the world per year, and if we multiply $1,000 by $90 million cars, it's going to be $1 trillion. But this is a minimum. It's a minimum amount. So this is my marketing research for just one line of activity. Today, if we go into detail, speaking about business, where can we make good money? There is a lack of big discoveries in the world today. Know-how and big technologies don't happen often, and those who come first with something new to the market, with the real project or product, would get most of the money because others would be catching up. Like Bill Gates or Apple with its smartphones. Those companies turned into billion companies, and other companies are not, and this is the same thing. Well, the technology is similar to Ike's company. I live in Egypt, and the water question is a hot topic here, and there is a shortage of water. Answer: water is not a problem in Russia, so not all could understand that it could be a problem with water. As far as electricity, I know that there are lots of settlements and locations where electricity is not available. How much money do we need to finance wind energy projects? Answer: I would provide the funding figures later when we approve a budget.
Сколько нужно средств для финансирования ветроэнергетики? Я уже сказал, что цифры по финансированию я дам позже, когда мы утвердим смету.
Well, please ask specific questions.
Так, я прошу задавать вопросы по существу.
If we run comparison, we could take a look at a Skyway company. You may know this company. and you may be investors of the company, including me.
Если нам, допустим,
It's interesting,
провести
as
сравнение, да, ну, можем вот посмотреть, допустим, на компанию.
I would like to ask you all to send a one in the chat who are investors of the company. There are quite a few such people, and I have been investing into that company since March 2014. And
инвесторами компании Skyway, поставьте
when I began investing into Skyway, Skyway was about nothing.
людей.
The only thing that was there is Levitsky and good slides. There was no design bureau, no research and development. However,
На тот момент, когда
it has been moving.
Skyway,
The work has been underway, but
то есть все, что было, это
it is 7 years have passed since that time, and
презентация на бумаге. Не было
there is no
ни конструкторской
commercialization yet of that technology. It may happen in a year or 2 or 3.
не было. И тем не
7 years have passed,
менее, движение пошло, работа закипела.
and that's the question.
Но, как вы видите,
I don't know why you say that 12 months to create the first prototype is long. It is not long. It's a normal practice.
может быть, через год, через два, через
If we compare it to similar companies,
А здесь я поэтому и вопрос у меня возникает. Я не могу понять, почему люди пишут, что 12 месяцев на создание.
what are the payments per investor per share in January, February?
Если просто сравнивать с аналогичными компаниями.
The investor payments for 2020 would be known in the end of 2020. And today is the 12th of November, and I am not a Vanga fortune teller to do this forecasting.
Вот какие будут выплаты инвесторам,
Are there any
будет известно в конце
multi-level marketing companies
у нас 12 ноября.
to start selling the preparation once we get all the documents? Answer: Alexander, I don't know what you mean by your question. What preparation and what
Есть ли сетевые
kind of
компании, которые
turnover
аппарат
you mean?
после получения всех документов на него? Александр, непонятно, что ты имеешь в виду. Какой препарат? Какой оборот?
If we compare it with Skyway, then one thing is to create a new type of transport and introduce it into the existing model, and another thing is to
Опять же,
create a generator or sell a generator. Commercialization is much easier, so you create a product and you sell it.
одно дело
This is not a transport line of activities or a transport network, not a train, not passenger transportation. It's much easier
другое дело, допустим,
for commercialization.
продавать генератор. То есть в данном случае коммерциализация в разы проще. То есть ты просто создал продукт, продал. Это не транспортная ветка какая-то, не транспортная сеть.
Speaking about the balsam and selling it through the multi-level marketing companies, we now talk to various MLM companies, and we probably would have it once all the documents are at hand. Time will tell.
Касаемо бальзама и продажи его через сетевые компании, у нас сейчас идут работы с различными сетевиками. Вот, с сетевыми компаниями сейчас пока ни с какими не общаемся. Возможно, что
Question.
да, будут все документы.
The production of vortex oscillating systems may take years, as the case with Duyunov. Answer: Mr. Duyunov has now been setting up an engineering center. The engine is produced long ago.
Производство вихреколебательных систем
Question:
займет годы.
Is there anyone who knows
Кардиография. Ну, у Дуюнова
the vortex station's
инжинирингового
work?
центра. Они создание
Answer:
кардиографии.
Sorokadum's son works with him, and he knows the project. As Sorokodum
Если еще человек
said,
знает
a vortex generator is a simple device.
систему работы
It is not a
да, с
complicated one,
работает
and its production is not complicated
тоже в этой
too.
теме находится. На самом деле, как сказал Сарат Хадум, вихревой генератор это относительно простой прибор, то есть он не какой-то сверхсложный, и его производство довольно-таки простое.
I have a feeling that the questions are written by school students. One year is to set up a prototype, the first utility model, and based on that prototype, a series of production will start. The same is true for automotive industry. There is nothing new in it.
1 год это создание прототипа первого рабочего готового образца, а далее уже на основании этого рабочего прототипа уже запускается серия. Так любое производство делает.
Question: do we have enough funds and patience to have the same way as the UNAV has passed? Answer: I don't see any problem here. It's going to be a very interesting trajectory because we're not starting a production of
Хватит ли у нас средств
and development of something that has already been done before
Я, честно говоря, вообще
or any improvements. We create a brand new thing that has never been created before in the world, and every stage
производство чего-то
of work is going to be very interesting. I think that Sorokodum would not object if we
да, или
do some footage
создаем
to show this stuff, and
вещь абсолютно новая.
I think that the work is going to be very interesting,
Здесь
and
каждый этап,
it's not about patience,
он будет очень
and
интересный.
I don't see any problem with
Я думаю,
the
что
funding.
Саркадум будет не против, если мы будем делать какие-то съемки для того, чтобы нам можно было материалы
A
показывать.
question:
То есть, поэтому
if not us, who
интересная работа. Поэтому
will do
здесь,
that?
в плане терпения вопрос вообще не стоит. В плане финансов
Answer:
пока что
we will be doing that,
абсолютно.
and it's going to be very interesting. Question:
Если здесь вопрос такой,
Well-
если не мы, то кто? Вот мы
will other companies be using some of our developments in their vehicle to reduce the
очень интересно.
how to say, headwind pressure for their trains or something?
Возможно, потом какие-то вещи из наших разработок будут использовать юнитки на своих транспортных средствах для того, чтобы уменьшить лобовое
Question.
сопротивление своих
It
поездов.
was said that some funds were invested into ILA. Was it necessary to introduce blockchain of our company? Answer: if coins get more expensive, we could sell them, and this profit would be used for
Приходилось,
dividends.
что часть средств была вложена в ИЛА. После роста цены токенов они достанутся инвесторам, или это было нужно для внедрения блокчейна в нашу компанию? Нет, если монеты вырастут в цене и их можно будет выгодно реализовать, значит они будут проданы и прибыль пойдет на дивиденды продажи.
There are no more questions.
Так, вопросы закончились.
There is another interesting thing. Sirokudum has the same name and patronymic as I have, Evgeny Dmitrievich, and the balsam developer has the same name, Evgeny Dmitrievich, as me and Sirokudum.
Кстати, интересная вещь такая. Сорокодум, мой тезка Евгений Дмитриевич. Разработчик бальзама.
So there are three Evgenys. If someone is having any concerns, the balsam production has no impact from lack of funds. We have enough funds.
Три Евгения, получается, собрались. Осталось еще какого-нибудь Евгения прицепить.
The ILA integration is digitalization of our shares by turning them into tokens. It's one of the options. Right now, there is no acute necessity for that. We will be probably doing that later, but we don't have enough time for all. Sirokudum was holding lengthy talks with a Japanese bank, and he was talking to someone from United Arab Emirates. He has been doing that for 6 months now. So if we haven't started working with him, so our place would be, there could have been someone else on our place. He's having issues with the funding. Therefore, he said that he's ready to work with us, even if we don't pay $3 million of his work for a few months. He asked for $3 or $4 million from foreign companies.
Он сказал, что готов даже с нами работать, поэтому мы сразу и не можем ему профинансировать там на $3 миллиона, там, допустим, в течение месяца или двух. Потому что от иностранцев он просил где-то, по-моему, говорил, если я не ошибаюсь, 3 или 4 миллиона долларов сразу.
Speaking about the reduction of the balsam to be sold by MLM people, we have the wholesale price has a discount. Yes, Victor? By the way, the ILA director is also Evgeny, so there are 4 Evgenys. The balsam recipe is there.
Получается уже 4 Евгения собралось так-то. Лендинг по бальзаму уже, да, готов уже.
Well, this is our landing page, and I'm going to show it in the chat.
Так, вот лендинг, сейчас я его сюда в чат.
Is there any plan for balsam selling, Alexander? I have mentioned it in the beginning of the webinar that the balsam is not ready to sell as the certification is not in place and the facility is not certified too. So we are not selling it yet.
Я в начале вебинара уже сказал, что у нас сейчас официально продажа бальзама еще не запущена, потому что не готова
Question:
сертификация.
will there be a
Производственное помещение и оборудование
ranging of dividends or
сейчас на данный момент
percent
пока не продают.
giving the share distribution? Answer: I'm not ready to answer take this question now. It will be decided next year
Будет ли в 2021 году
or in the end of this year.
дивидендов в зависимости от срока выкупа долей? Я пока не знаю, то есть это будет зависеть от разных факторов. Это уже решим в 2021 году. Сейчас пока я не отвечу на этот вопрос.
How to get a addition to the landing page? I don't quite get it. You'd better put your technical questions to our support team in the chat. Well, as I can see, all major questions for operations are finished. So let's finalize our webinar today. It has been lasting for an hour now. All major questions have been discussed, so I believe that there could be more information than today for the next webinar. So thank you all for your participation. Have a good night. Be well, and until next time.
Основные все моменты обсудили. Я думаю, что к следующему вебинару будет также много интересной информации, может быть, даже больше, чем сегодня. Вот, ребят, всем спасибо за участие, кто пришел. Вот, всем хорошего вечера, всем здоровья, всем пока.